Sanibonani, Dumelang, Modweni Mzansi Africa, and welcome to your #1 youth show, and that is Expressions. South Africa, like many countries globally, grapples with the challenge of youth unemployment. This is supported by statistics indicating a 45.5 unemployment rate among young individuals that are aged between 15 to 34 years, in contrast to the national average of 32.9% in the first quarter of 2024. The data, Mbukeli, further reveals that the youth overall transition rate into employment was 4.7% in 2022, an increase of 1.2 percentage when Azaria nawe Mbukeli. That points from 3.5% in 2022. Welcome to Expressions. I'm not rolling solo. I'm with Azaria Koza. Happy Youth Month, Azaria.
Happy Youth Month, Kolosonjani.
Ndiyaphila Nkosonjani.
Ngiyaphila nami. Ayike mbukeli nginibingelele nonke emakhaya noma kuphila nisibukele khona njengamanje. Igama lami ngo-Azaria wakwaKhoza. Noma kuphi mbukeli lapho ubukele khona eze umuntu omusha, lolu uhlelo lwakho. Njengamanje ubukele i-Expressions khona la kunqa phambili SABC 1 Mzansi for sure kanye no DTT. Izolo ke mbukeli besibungaza usuku lwabantu abasha phecelezi i-Youth Day. Isiqubulo salosuku lonyaka besithi actively advancing socio-economic gains of our democracy. Kodwa ke okubi mbukeli nawe Kholosa ukuthi namhlanje we are looking at the alarming rates of unemployment. Do young people have anything to celebrate at all? Today we've put a spotlight on the rate of youth unemployment in South Africa, focusing on the unemployed graduates. We spoke to young people to find out imibono yabo ngalesi hloko, and this is what they had to say.
I was sure that I wanted to go into the water and sanitation department, but that didn't happen, so I pursued my honors degree hoping that the chances would be greater for me to enter the employment sector, but it wasn't the case. So I've since graduated this year in 2024, but I'm still looking for employment. The vacancies that I see in the department that I'm interested in require a lot of experience, which at the moment I don't have.
As you are embarking on your educational journey, you should maybe volunteer as you are studying, so that it makes your chances of employment higher.
I even drop out from TUT. I drop out from CJC because I realized that, you know what, there are no jobs here. Companies are leaving.
Seems like a waste of money for our parents, and also for us. It's exhausting to go to school and then come back and sit without a plan. And I know others want to open small businesses, but I feel like it's not a viable thing in our economy right now. Like, there's a huge margin between the rich and the poor. Yeah, like for instance, I studied logistics, but that's not what I'm currently doing. And I feel like I wasted my parents' money and my own time.
We're having interviews today, and I was looking at the CVs. People are learned out there. I'm going to be interviewing someone that's got way higher qualifications to be working under me. So obviously it's discouraging.
They were essentially just talking about the unemployment rate in South Africa. But we ask I have my guests here right now at studio. Joining me is Blessing Ramoba, who is the president of Employment Party, and also Advise Chuma, who is the chairperson of the Gauteng Youth Forum. Guys, Expressions namhlanje. And I'm sure you've just watched the insert, and these days ukufunda ukuwaste imali yabazali. Advise, let me just start with you. You know, what do you have to say about that? Surely this calls for concern.
Okay, no, thank you so much, and so yeah, no, definitely, without a doubt, you can see from the painful experience while she was saying that, and this is obviously, the feeling from a majority of young people, where the kind of unemployment that we are facing here in South Africa, particularly for young people, it's a pandemic, for the lack of a better word, because, irregardless of what you have studied, you can find yourself sitting at home. And by virtue of that, it's very depressing, because now and then you are being used as an example to say, education is useless. But it's very important. We must go to school. So while the criminals, I'm just giving an example, people who never went to school and all those kind of things, and then you find that young people are really depressed, and by virtue of that, you went to school, you have studied, and then now you are sitting in a township, you are not employed, and then you are seeing the guys, who are doing criminal things, feeding their family, while you, with your qualification, you are seated at home. What does that tell you? Where do you get the inspiration?
Yeah. All right. A blessing, also just to rope you in the conversation. I just want you to, because before siba nenkinga ezifana unemployment, obviously kuba khona ama roots. What do you think causes the staggering numbers of unemployment, because they've been rising for the past two decades right here in South Africa?
Yeah, first of all, you need to understand that the unemployment rate amongst young people sits on about 52%. So that itself is a pandemic, yes, it's true. But the challenges that which leads to unemployment high rate amongst young people also is the issue of policy. The ANC government in the past, that's why now they got less votes. In fact, they are voted out because of their policies were not advancing the issue of seeing young people and South Africans in general making sure that they get employment. The issue of policy is important. You cannot create jobs if you are not industrializing. You cannot create jobs if you are not manufacturing. Yeah. So if you look, when we look at countries like China and the rest of the world, they are industrializing and technologies, they are producing more vehicles and technologies that which we are using in South Africa. We don't even manufacture anything. TVs that which people are watching us through right now, we import them. Yeah. Even, simple things I can tell you. Yeah. But if we want to create employment, we need to be a country that start to industrialize. Let's start making technologies in South Africa so that, we're able to compete with the rest of the world. Yeah. But if we cannot create a conducive environment for business, for actually also for investors to be able to come into the country and put their money, because it has to worth it for an investor to put their money. Yeah. Let's change our policies, make sure that, they are friendly, towards investors so that they're able to put money, so that we're able to create jobs.
Okay, speaking of policies, I just want us to also speak about, from the perspective of policies and also the implementation. Where is the problem between, drawing up the policies and actually implementing them?
We do have, I can tell you, we do have some of the good policies that which were drafted in the past. But of course, when an investor looks into a country, they look in the issue of corruption. Also is a problem in the country, and also property rights. We have got parties that which threatens property rights in terms of expropriation of land without compensation. No one will want to put money in a country where policies such like that are actually proposed. So we need to also to look into policies that which promote especially investment. For an example, we say tax incentives whereby if you come and start a factory in South Africa, for certain certain years, maybe 1 or 2, you get a tax, incentive in terms of to be able not to pay tax for a certain period, and then that's how we are going to be able to attract more companies to actually come into the country. And but when we talk about youth unemployment, is important. you know, we have got youth that which leaves universities today and they graduate, they don't find employment. We need to start making sure that those people are accommodated. Today we've got a government which they call themselves the Government of National Unity, which I think that they need to prioritize the issue of employment for young people.
Yeah. All right, let's hold it right there. I just want us to go to a quick ad break. Masbuya, we are still going to talk about the curriculum abantwana abayifundayo ezikoleni. Hayi ke mbukeli hlala la ukhona unganyakazi okwamanje sisathi qhu eyitolo ungayindawo siyabuya.
Welcome back, and that is Expressions. We are still talking about the youth unemployment in South Africa, which is one of the most pressing socio-economic challenges the country faces today. With nearly 2/3 of its population under the age of 35, the potential and vitality of youth is undeniable. However, Mugeli, a significant portion of this demographic is struggling to find employment, which has far-reaching implications on the individual, societal and economic well-being of the nation. What can the public, together with the private sector, do to address youth unemployment in South Africa?
Yes,
Things should be done.
Youth unemployment is a huge problem in our country. Unemployment is, in general, is. Triple B tries to address some of these things, so they put pressure on corporate companies to sort of make sure that they do business with companies that have black youth ownership, you know. And I think maybe those numbers can be, or those targets can be more aggressively applied to sort of accelerate and stimulate in that area. I, in my professional capacity, work for an organization that prides itself in finding youth through different mentorship programs, through different training programs in sectors that are niche, bringing those organizations.
Interesting one, Mbugeli. Well, to help me dissect this conversation, I'm joined by Mtanti, an intern at Sagram. Mtanti, welcome to Expressions. I'm just reflecting on the clip that we've just played. It is now clear that the government alone cannot go about bringing unemployment to young people just alone. And I mean, the question of whether whose responsibility it is to bring employment between the government sector and private sector has been a topic of debate. I mean, policymakers, citizens and economists, they've been debating on that topic. And I want to understand from you, Mxolisi, I mean, whose role it is to actually bring employment to young people between the private sector and the government sector?
Okay, on my side, I can say both of them, the private sector and the government, is their job to bring opportunities to the graduate. So on the government side, because on the government side, they are currently giving the 350 for people that are unemployed yet.
Yeah.
So I can say if maybe they can top up that 350 with an amount that can assist graduate to apply.
Yes. And I mean, the issue of social grants now, it has been the issue on the ground, especially Kubanda Bacha, because we have nearly 29 million South Africans abakhamlayo kwezi social grant, and there's been an issue of if maybe can we use it to invest in improving the skills of young people instead of just giving them imali. Do you think indaba yama 350 is actually creating a cycle of dependency? What do you have to say about wena njengomntomtsha?
What I can say in the 350 because if low mali being an investor to government or to those private sectors, because currently we have companies such as SAGRA, the South African Council for Graduate. So they are currently recruiting the graduate that are unemployed. So for now, they have got funding from the SETAs. So the first SETA, it's facet. So they got funding of 750 learners. And then the second one, it's Merisita. They got funding, it's 350 learners, and in total they are 1,000. So I think if government and the private sector can assist like such companies to top up like the stipend to the graduates.
Yes, and I must say that, I mean, looking at the high rate of unemployment, and in you guys, what you do, you offer opportunities for young people, bakwazi ukufumana ama-learnerships and also internships. But I want to understand, njengokuba usuka eSAGRA, where is the gap? I mean, why are we seeing a rise of young people until today basa apply internships bangazifuni? And do you think maybe there should be a budget that can be allocated to SAGRA to assist in unemployment?
Oh, what I can say about that, I think given these sitters, when they're giving companies such as SAGRA, they are giving them like a sufficient number. So like for now, they just got, it's only 1,000. So, and the rate of unemployment rate, there are a lot of unemployed graduates, and that 1,000 cannot cover all like the undergraduate people.
And speaking of unemployed graduates, I mean, there's this notion that, I mean, for you to get the best education, you must enroll at a university. And I mean, do you think that perception yoba mhlawumbe imfundo ephucukileyo uzayifumana kwi-university, it sort of bring about exfoliator okanye ibekela phansi the TVET colleges? Because we understand that kuma TVET colleges, you'll find ukuthi ama-students, that's when they get practical skills so that they are ready on the job market. Do you maybe think the notion that universities are graded higher, it sort of exfoliates TVET colleges?
No, I cannot say, because also even on the TVET colleges, after doing their on the TVET colleges, after they are done with their 18 months, then they still also need work integrated learning.
Yes.
So I can say it's more like the same with the people that are coming from the universities, because all of them, they just need experience in the workplace.
And speaking of experience, one would say the education system here too, it does not really match the outside world. Like now we are living in the 4AR, there's technology, there's AI, artificial intelligence. Looking at our education system, when I'm Olisi, do you think abafundi, they are really prepared for the real world so that when they come out of school, I mean, Sencho, they have relevant experiences so that bakbe khona kwi job market?
No, because I can say if like most of the graduates, like they were prepared, we cannot have this large number of unemployment rate in South Africa. Because so far at the universities, what they taught us, it's only the theory part. And also the theory part, sometimes it does not give us what needs to be done.
And you know, I want to also touch on your personal journey, because I mean you are an intern at SAGRA, and there's probably a young person obukeleyo naye angathandi dokubana azinxibelelanise. I mean, how did you get there? And I mean, from when ungathi zintoni othe wazifunda?
On my internship.
Yes.
So in my internship, currently I am the IT specialist and the website developer. So currently I'm the one who's designing the website from the scratch.
Wow.
And also to develop, and then also I'm the one who's maintaining the website that's where there. So it's not only about the IT people, there are other graduates that are there that are doing different courses. Yes.
And you can safely say umsebenzi wakho is really in alignment with what the world needs today, right?
Yes, I can say.
Thank you so much for joining us, Mkolisi, because I'm very much interested to find out the mining industry yona ingenza njani ukuqinisekisa into yokubana abantu abatsha bafumane job opportunities, because I mean, if Africa is so rich in minerals, why are we having this high rate of unemployment? Azaria will continue with the conversation. For now, Masithi Qhwe venkileni qiniseka ugunqi. You are still watching Expressions.
From Eval to Katlehong, Foslorus, noma kuphi la usibukele khona njengamanje mbukeli. This is Expressions khona la on SABC1. Namhlanje mbukeli sikhuluma ngodaba oluqhakatheke kakhulu lapha eNingizimu Afrika. Sikhuluma ngokwantuleka kwemisebenzi kwintsha yethu yalapha kwelengabadi. And still joining me on the show right now I have Blessing Ramoba and also no Advise Chuma. Advise, also just to continue on the conversation. You know, when we were doing our research, we've just found out that nearly over 4 million people have essentially given up on looking for umsebenzi because of the high staggering numbers of unemployment. You know, I just want us to speak about the psyche of abantu abasha right now when they're trying to go out there and find imisebenzi, ba apply but abaphendulwa. is that discouraging? And should they give up at this point in looking at the state of our country?
No, definitely it is highly discouraging, but no, I will not encourage them to give up, though, because, the issues of unemployment, it also include the depression, so we must constantly encourage them to make sure that they continuously apply. But I think this issue, it's systematic. Even our higher learning institutions, need to play a role, because now, as we have seen that when looking into graduate, you went to the university, but the product that the university have produced, you find that, it's not what the market required in terms of the skills. So it means that, even our education system, need to reform in terms of, how they teach us, and, so that at least, the skills, that we are requiring, for making it outside of the university, it's conducive enough. Hence, there must be that working together of the private sector and the higher learning institutions, so that at least immediately a graduate is out, they can be able to make an impact. But also the learning to say, as a young person, as a student at the higher learning institutions, the mindset should not be strictly to say, out of here, I'm going to get employment. We need entrepreneurs, in South Africa, we need innovators, we need people who can do academic research, we need people who have those kind of skills, so that at least they can make an impact. Hence, if you look at parties like Action SA, we're saying, opportunity fund, 30% or certain percent needs to be accommodated for entrepreneurial funding, so that at least we know that our entrepreneurs will be funded. Okay. Because, yes.
So you work a lot with the young people on the ground.
Yes.
Also, young people have been advised to also look at the niche, the markets that need, employment. So, what sort of niche industries do need employees right now at this point?
Yeah. If you look in terms of the technological advancement, the artificial intelligence, it's taking over, We might find that one day you and I, you will be seated here as a presenter, you find that there's no one who is controlling the camera, meaning that it's autonomous, meaning that we need those skills that people, the engineers, that will be able to create this kind of technology, so that at least we can be at an advanced level. So young people must look at the role of artificial intelligence, the issues of
technology is the future.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, but also just, do you feel that enough is being done in order to open up opportunities for young people, in order for them to be able to penetrate the job market and the working sphere, basically?
I think what needs to be done by the government, we've got SETAs, different SETAs. We've got SETAs for banking, for engineering, all these, different qualifications have got SETAs. And those SETAs have been given billions of rand yearly. The SETAs has to play a role in terms of training young people. If there is no jobs in their qualifications that which they went to school for, they can actually retrain them into something else, like the fourth industrial revolution and technology and something like that.
Well.
Let's retrain our young people, and let's use those resources to equip them and make them active in the society.
All right, beautiful. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us.
What an insightful conversation. Elections. Thank you so much for joining us. But we are not leaving you, Mbukeli. We have EXO with the song titled Lalela. Bye-bye.
Hepati the bears kulu we down. Put the bears pagadila. Hepati the bears kulu we down. Put the bears pagadila. Abantwana bayakhanya basasikhuluma fatona yami sekulada uqapha iphalesi ntwana yami utholada ufike sesi-right dibasali basmart ngila ngekhombo ntwana yami ungawani kuzala abantwana ukuthi bajule ngani akithi plani yami ukuthi nami ngeneda fike ngithole two ntwana yami sitisufana ekithi kafana abantwana bayakhanya basasikhuluma fatona yami sekulada uqapha iphalesi ntwana yami utholada dibasali basmart bathini ntwana yami ungawani ukuthi bajule ngani ukuthi nami ngeneda Intwana yami isufana. Ekithi semabheleni ebuza noma ubani uyazi ukuthi siphethe ekithi sesizulini basokhala abakhulume bathi seyisukile ivari sesijimi akudluli noma ubani namba maseyisukile bathi seyisukile sekushubile bathi seyisukile sekushubile bathi seyisukile bathi seyisukile ebathi the bears uNkulunkulu wendawo futhi the bears iphakade la ebathi the bears uNkulunkulu wendawo futhi the bears iphakade la